And this morning, I'll share with you about the progress, the vision, a vision we call unity in diversity to build the future. And with that, also the opportunity. This is the picture of the palace in Nusantara during the Independence Day ceremony last August, on the 17th of August 2024. This was the historical moment because it's the first time Indonesia marks the Independence Day, not in the palace here in Jakarta, but in Nusantara, in the island of Kalimantan or Borneo. With that, I'll show the next slide, where the location of Nusantara is. So as an introduction, for those of you who are not yet familiar with Indonesia, we are here down in the island of Java. Jakarta is in the island of Java. It's not the biggest island, maybe about only 10% of the whole population or the whole area of Indonesia, but the population of Java is about 60% of the whole population of Indonesia. Also, when it comes to economic growth, Java contributes 58% of the economy of Indonesia. While the other islands, and one of the biggest islands is Kalimantan. So that's why if you look at this map, it's a capital that is moving to another island. You never see this in other country. You look at Canberra in Australia. Canberra is located very near from Melbourne and Sydney. Or in the US, we have Washington, D.C. It's not very far from New York, right? Or in our neighboring country, Malaysia, the new capital city, Putrajaya, is located just around the suburb of Kuala Lumpur. But here in Indonesia, we move the capital to a different island. It will take 2 hours flight from Jakarta now to Balikpapan, which is the largest city in East Kalimantan. And then from Balikpapan now, the traffic is about 1.5 hours with the toll roads to Nusantara. And in the middle of next year, when the toll road fully completed, will be 45 minutes. This is an idea about creating equitable development. Yeah, it's creating investment opportunity, not only in the island of Java anymore. It's also about creating the future that is more green and sustainable, because the island of Kalimantan is very rich in tropical forests. Yeah, so the goal to create the city there is not to destroy the forest, but is to preserve the forest, because then the government will have stronger, control and also vision to develop a forest city. So this is why the 250,000 hectare area of new capital city is created. So this is another important figure. Nusantara with the 250,000 hectare, and I always say to the international world, we are not doing a deforestation. Simply because we build it in the island of Kalimantan where there are many forests, it doesn't mean we destroy the forest. We're not doing deforestation, but we're doing reforestation. Why? Because out of that area, only 25% will be built as a city, as urban area. 10% will be area for agriculture and parks, yeah. But the majority, 65%, will be forest area, or in fact will be reforested. Because Kalimantan used to be a tropical forest and then changed to be a production forest. Yeah, you see many, for example, palm oil, or the majority in Nusantara area now is eucalyptus trees. But the goal is to reforest this into tropical forest again. 65% of that. Because we have a vision, we want to achieve net zero in Nusantara in the year 2045. Faster than the target of Indonesia. Indonesian government has a target of net zero 2060. But Nusantara will achieve it earlier in 2045. That is the time when we reach our 100 years independent. So Nusantara is not just a program of one government or one president. Our very first president, Mr. Sukarno, yeah, who is very close and a good friends to the leaders of the People's Republic of China, he was the one who has the vision, the first time, that the new capital city should not be in Java anymore, but in Kalimantan. After several presidents, we have president number 2, Mr. Suharto, president number 6, Mr. Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, also has the vision and the plan but it's President number 7, President Joko Widodo, who was able to realize that vision, to make Nusantara realize as a long-term dream. Yeah? He is the one who started it, but he's not the one who finished it. It must continue, and now our current president, President number 8, Mr. Prabowo Subianto, who was supported very strongly by Mr. Joko Widodo. He was the Minister of Defense under President Joko era, and continuity in the government, including the continuity in New Capital City, is the vision of Mr. Prabowo. That's why he puts a new target to our organization, to my boss, the chairman, Mr. Basuki Hadimulyono, who was the Minister of Public Works during the time of President Joko Widodo. He has 2 targets that in 2025, next year, because we are now finishing the construction of the government area, I will show you later, he wants that gradual, step-by-step relocation of civil servants will start next year, 2025. That's why we are now accomplishing the construction and also putting a lot of services. So, for example, restaurants, yeah, amenities for people like market, schools, hospitals. Those are the target we want to have in 2025. But the big target will be 2028. That is 4 years after the time of President Prabowo. He wants that at that time, not only the government office of executive, but also the legislative, so the parliament, and also the judiciary, yeah, the Supreme Court, the Constitutional Court, also to be constructed in year 2028. So that in year 2029, that's the final year of his first term, we will have the complete government city in Nusantara. So that's a bit of the history of Nusantara. And with that, I put a very high emphasis, a very high regard on the role of the People's Republic of China. Mr. Prabowo, he was just sworn in last month in October, but he already had his overseas trip, and the first country he visited during his overseas trip in the beginning of this month was to China, to Beijing, to meet the President Xi Jinping. And in fact, this is already the second trip for him since he was winning the presidential election. And earlier this year, before he was even official as president, he already visited China. And this time again, when he was having a trip of almost 3 weeks to various countries, he began with China. Yeah, this marks also a continuity, as I mentioned, from the relationship between President Joko Widodo and President Xi Jinping, where last year I was very much observing how China is an important part. President Joko Widodo visited city of Chengdu and signed an agreement, and at that time, we signed an MOU with the city of Shenzhen to work together to plan and develop the new capital city. And now President Prabowo also put a very high importance in the role of China, which I will show later how the interest of the Chinese businesses, which I hope today will also increase again. So internationally, our city has attracted interest from more than 500 companies. 500 companies from around the world. About half of that is coming from international, so around 200. The majority is still coming from Indonesia. But here you see a list of countries with companies. And you see China, for example, has the one with almost or even the highest number of letter of intent, LOI, coming. So there are 34 companies from China sending letter of interest already, followed by other countries. There's Germany, there's South Korea, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, and also Western countries like America and Germany. But we see that this reflects also a big interest from China to participate in building the new capital. I will share with you later what areas so far that is already constructing and the interest that is coming, including from China. So this is so far the value of the investment that has been signed in an agreement with our organization, with our government, the capital city of Indonesia. a total value of almost 60 trillion rupiah. So this is not billion, this is trillion, yeah? This trillion rupiah. So 58.41 trillion rupiah, which is about 28 billion, yeah, Chinese yuan, yeah, coming from various sectors, from 7, now 8-time ceremonies where the president already visited and inaugurated. Yeah, this is building places like hotel, hospital, schools, shopping malls. Some of that I will show later is already now in operation. One of the companies was from China. The name is Delonix. Delonix comes from Shenzhen. Is the developer, investor, and operator of one of the largest hotel chains. So we are very proud that a company like Delonix from China is also participating in the construction of Nusantara, alongside many big national companies from state-owned companies, yeah, like the state-owned banks, Mandiri, BRI, BNI, to energy companies like PLN, but also banks like BCA, yeah, property developer like Intiland, Paku Buwono, and many others. Altogether, these companies contributed in constructing Nusantara, and you'll see later the physical progress. Apart from the direct investment, there is also a big potential on what we call the PPP, public-private partnership. Yeah? The PPP scheme, yeah, is a scheme where the PPP company will sign an agreement with us, the Authority of New Capital City, and there is going to be also a guarantee agreement provided by the Ministry of Finance and IIGF, and the PPP company will provide services where the government will pay through a scheme called availability payment over 10 or 15 years period of time. So for example, these are the number of companies. Again, this is 31 trillion rupiah, yeah, not billion, but trillion, yeah. There are 6 companies right now in the housing sector who are on progress. They are already finishing the feasibility study, and next month we are going to do the tender, yeah, for these companies. For example, companies named Ciputra, who is going to build civil servant housing, civil servant apartments, and 20 landed house for the government officials. Or IJM is a company from Malaysia who is going to build 20 tower of the civil servants. Also, Intiland, for example, is a local, a very strong property developer. Is going to build 41 tower of civil servants housing and 109 units of the landed house. So this is a scheme that gives a guarantee for the investors that you don't have to worry about the number of civil servants who will stay, because the government will pay, yeah, on the basis of the availability of the apartments through a guarantee agreement. And the government already allocate the budget for this in the amount of 0.1% to 0.15% of our GDP every year. This is signed already by the Ministry of Finance of Indonesia, yeah, and we allocate with that around next year around 20 trillion rupiah, yeah, and every year it will always increase to give the guarantee of the payment for the housing, for the roads, for the power plants, for example. So I can mention here, for example, for constructing the roads and the multi-utility tunnel, the MUT, 3 Chinese companies, CSCEC, China State Construction Engineering Corporation, China Railway, CREC, and China Harbor, CHEC, already expressed interest and give proposal, and we are currently preparing, yeah, with that proposal on how these companies can contribute to the construction of Nusantara. Now, why it is attractive to come to Nusantara as investors? There are many benefits that is provided by the government regulation, the presidential regulation number 75, 2024, and our regulation also. For example, the land. Maybe if you ask, is the land cheap or expensive? I'm saying that now the land is provided at a very low level using the public appraisal based on an as-is value. As is value meaning the land that was not yet developed. Therefore, the value of the land is very low. I can say that the value of the land is ranging from 100,000 rupiah to less than 1 million rupiah per square meter. Yeah. So as low as $10 up to the highest, yeah, is $100 per square meter. So this is why it's becoming very attractive, because we don't intend to get the money from the land, but our goal is for the construction to happen. And in fact, the land allocation can be paid in a 5-year installment. Yeah? And also, there are many other interests and incentives that we are providing. Yeah? For example, the land certificate. This can be acquired for a cycle of 80 years. In Indonesia, usually you have a certificate for 30 years, but in IKN, we can make it until 80 years and extendable even for another 80 years. Yeah. Also many other incentives that we provide, including incentives in the taxation. Yeah. So you can discuss later. I think Rayanda should be the expert on this. Yeah. But for example, the regulation we have is about giving tax holiday for companies that invest in Nusantara. Yeah. In Nusantara, we have a lower threshold to get tax holiday. Only with investment of 10 billion rupiah, you can get tax holiday. In other place, you need about at least 100 billion rupiah to invest to get tax holiday. Yeah. Also, for example, value-added tax is not going to be collected for property, EV, yeah, property rental service, and many others. So that's why companies like Intiland, that's companies like Pakubuwono, they come because they see that there is the benefit of this tax incentive. Yeah. Also, super tax deduction. It's another incentive scheme we provide for companies who is going to contribute in building infrastructure, building roads, or building schools, or building R&D. Yeah. This is going to be given by deducting the disposable income, the taxable income of the company, so that there is less that is going to be taxed, and this is providing an incentive for the companies to contribute in building Nusantara. These are some of the additional incentive. Yeah, you can go into detail as I mentioned. This is the government regulation number 12/2023, revised by government regulation number 29/2024. Yeah, we can have a more detailed discussion also with the tax consultant, including the Minister of Finance regulation. There is a Minister of Finance regulation number 28/2024 that outlines the detail on how to get this tax incentive. But this is the first time that the Indonesian government makes a very detailed regulation in order to attract investment coming to the new capital city. So with all that, now I'm showing you the result, the progress. The state budget that is allocated to build Nusantara, so far it's 88 trillion rupiah of state budget. And the progress so far in total is more than 50%, 58.6%. In fact, some of the projects that begin already in year 2023 now reach already 95% completion. At the end of this year, it will reach 100%. For example, here you see in the middle is the housing. The housing for the civil servant. These are the housing towers. 47 housing towers will be finished by beginning of next year. Every tower consists of 60 units. So one unit consists of 3 bedrooms. This can house 1 family of civil servants or 3 single staffs of civil servants with an area of 98 square meter, which is considered very luxurious, very generous here in Jakarta for the young civil servants to get a 98 square meters apartment in the middle of the city. That's almost impossible. Also, the housing for the ministers, you want there in the middle, 36 ministers housing almost completed. We have now more than 36 in the new government. We have 48 ministers, so we're going to build more. But by next year, we are ready to start relocating gradually. And importantly also in that right side is the area of what we call the national axis. That's the area of the palace and the ministerial offices. And you see in the surrounding are the supporting infrastructure, the toll road, the bridge that is already completed, also the runway for the airport. So right now we still fly to the airport in Balikpapan, but now the airport in Nusantara is almost completed. The runway is ready for already 2,200 meter, and by the end of this year it will be ready for 3,000 meter, yeah, for the runway. Also the pond, yeah, as well as parks, as I mentioned, as part of the progress using the government budget. And people are asking, how about now the current government? Is the government budget is available for that? Yes. This is again, it's trillion, not billion, it's TN, yeah. 6.4 trillion rupiah is already approved by the parliament for next year, and another 8 trillion is now under discussion with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of National Planning. So in total, 14 trillion rupiah is allocated to our organization, the Nusantara Capital Authority, and this is the first time that the budget goes directly to us. Before that, all the construction you saw, the budget goes to Minister of Public Works. But this time, now it's going directly to us for the construction and the operation, especially to focus on connectivity, the public and social infrastructure, as well as the civil servants and apparatus housing. This is for 2025. Until 2028, as I mentioned, the target of completing the legislative and the judiciary, the target is, the budget is about 48 trillion rupiah, yeah? And gradually this will be fulfilled because next year it will be 14, 2026, 27, 2028 in order to achieve this completion in 2028. So this is also the progress of the non-government budget project. So hotel, for example, the Swiss Hotel, this is the first private investment happening in Nusantara. Swiss Hotel built by a consortium of national companies, 191 rooms, now is always full. Yeah. Also, if you see the Central Bank complex, there's also 3 hospitals, 2 of them already completed, 2 private hospitals, Hermina Hospital and Mayapada Hospital, already in operation. 200 beds and 200 beds. Right now, 30 and 40 beds already in operation. Yeah. Now, the people in the area, even before the civil servant, the local villagers already can use the hospitals using the universal healthcare scheme, the universal government insurance. Yeah. There are schools, there are football training center, there is also renewable power plant, 50 megawatt using solar panel. These are all already completed, yeah, to support the government area. These are all the non-government budget, the private investment that is supporting the government city. So with that, we are very confident with a strong relationship between the 2 countries, Indonesia and China, also with the strong commitment of President Prabowo in the relationship with China, as well as the strong commitment to continue the new capital city. Thank you so much. Terima kasih. 谢谢。